Are you struggling with your emotions during your divorce or breakup? Are you having a difficult time concentrating in the middle of all the changes? Questioning just how to feel normal again. Stay right here so I can walk you through 5 ways to handle your emotions during this difficult time. I know the pain of believing that my triggers were an authentic moment that should be looked at, validated, talked about, handled. Like many of you, I've done lots of work to be happy and live an authentic experience. However, there are many tools and groups that teach confusing dogma and beliefs about what you should do if someone is triggering you. And the truth is that your triggers are your triggers, and they are for you to turn within and discover the internal reasoning, not point the finger at the external sources, because then you'll never be happy. Most of us believe and have been trained and conditioned to look for an external source for our triggers. This leads to misunderstandings, breakups, divorce, relationship conflicts. You get the point. I want you to find your empowerment within you, not outside of you. Because no one is gaslighting you. You gaslight yourself, and then you project onto anything or any other thing besides the true source, you. So it's important to understand your emotional triggers. Let's start here. Emotional triggers are something that most people don't even realize they have, especially if you are used to just finding other people to blame just because it makes sense. Because there is a difference between the fact that happened to you and the perception that you were choosing to judge those facts from. So I want you to check your lens. Are you using the past pain you have experienced to be your excuse to be triggered and therefore demand others to change? Are you believing that you are smart in looking for red flags because then you find them, thinking that means you're right? Are you pretending that you're over your past pain, your past trauma, but yet you still feel like it's important to tell everyone about it because you're authentic? Are you looking through broken glasses because you don't actually want to be open and vulnerable again because you think it's safer? During a divorce, during a breakup, you're exposed to conflict in new ways, subtly, that you never have been before. So you look for reasons why. You blame shift. You find a reason to hold on to the pain, and you honestly believe that this is a good thing for you to do because somehow it's going to help you avoid in the future. That's just a complete illusion. Keeping that prayer of pain manifesting over and over again. You bringing your past into your future. Understanding your emotional triggers is like cultivating a garden within. Tend to the roots of your emotions and watch as your landscape blossoms into a sanctuary of self-awareness. Neville Goddard. So let's talk about just a couple of common emotional triggers in the situations of divorce and breaking up. Some common emotional triggers that you experience during divorce, during breakup include, but not limited to, feeling rejected and abandoned, meaning that you may be bringing an old experience of someone else rejecting you, or you felt abandoned and you're bringing that party into the present because you say you know what it feels like, so you bring it out whenever it's convenient. Now you want to be careful because you thinking that you were rejected may be a maximization of the details that just fit your narrative. You may not have actually truly been rejected in the past, but yet you demand that you still are right now. Fear of the unknown or losing control, meaning your trigger could be a lie about the unknown. Listen to me here. If you're afraid of something, then it's actually not unknown. It's something that you know from your past that is still unresolved. So you use that as an excuse to be afraid. You bring the known into the unknown. It's not unknown. Also concerned about finances, meaning since you have been influenced and you are supposed to compete and hustle your whole life, you will not be happy even when you have your savings, you have your retirement, and even have your walking around money in abundance. Look, you could still be triggering yourself with any of your I'm not enough complex, but you project it onto others in the illusion of being smart, being prepared, being safe. Also, you might worry about the co-parent and the well-being of your children when they're with them. I see this a lot, meaning this: just because you have a problem with your ex, you will choose to believe that that somehow gives you a divine power to know that your ex is bad or dangerous when they are with your children. You will exaggerate the truth into hysterics, making yourself physically ill because you are the one having a problem, because you will not deal with your reaction to what you're thinking about. Any trigger that affects you personally, your identity, your faith, is about your relationship with you, not anybody else. That is where the work is and nowhere else. Do your work, then take action. Your behaviors and choices may not even change, but you could have peace of mind and joy. That will be impacting things for the better. So, here are 5 ways to handle emotional triggers. Let's start with identifying your trigger. So, what is your trigger? It's going to be a past experience that's still active within you. It still has momentum and emotional charge. So, it's part of your wound. It's part of your I am statements. Now, this wound brings you back to your past and brings your past into the future, into the now. Bringing along with it all the feelings, the beliefs about yourself, and even that old body chemistry telling you, I feel it, therefore I know. When an emotional trigger arises, recognize it as an opportunity to cleanse yourself of stored energy that's holding you back. Michael Singer. Next, I want you to think about working with your triggers. So, keep a journal when your mind is racing. When you're in a spiral, the next time you're triggered, and it's, lasting for hours, creating physical pain in your body, and you have an awareness that it's just getting worse. For example, a tape in your head playing on loop is now 3 different tapes of 3 different stories, all running at the same time, which is also a recipe for a panic attack. So I want you to please don't call anybody. Do this instead. I want you to pick up a pen and paper. Simply start writing one of those threads as fast as you can. And if one of them gets stuck, then write that one out over and over again. Even if it's F my life, I'm a loser, it's going to get worse, whatever it is, over and over again. Because you cannot possibly write as fast as your mind spins its delusional versions of reality. The goal is to slow the momentum down. And this simple mechanism works every single time. Every time if you do it. If you don't do it, of course it won't work. If you will not control yourself enough to do it, however, this is on you. And there's no viable excuse anymore. Emotional triggers are catalysts for transformation. The moment we shift our perception, we rewrite the script of our reality. Joe Dispenza. This simple trick will slow things way down so that your higher brain functions come back online and you can see things more clearly. Again, you may still do exactly the same thing. You will do it from a clear place. Next, accept your triggers. They're yours after all. Accepting your triggers just the way you are is one of the best ways for you to make an impact in changing how you react to your life right now and in the future that you are stepping into. By now, you must have noticed that I am pretty biased towards accepting maximum responsibility, which is unconditionally applied to everything you experience. No excuses. That's where all the power is. You change yourself, the whole world changes around you. Now, if someone wrongs you, I want you to look at yourself if it really bothers you. The problem is inside of you. Deal with that. Now, this does not let someone off the hook. Think this through. This puts your emotional regulation in your hands. It's no longer about them. Regulate, then act. You have to fix the problem within you. It's your stuff, and leave everybody else out of it, or else it won't be authentic. Get yourself back into alignment and then deal with outside sources if they're even still a concern. Because if you always take action because of some extrinsic stimulation, then you will not be satisfied when that external force is dealt with. You'll get divorced, you'll get over the breakup, you still won't be happy. You'll find another target. Your peace will fade and you will look for another pattern to justify your pain response because you've come used to it. Happens all the time. Acceptance is also about accepting responsibility for your actions without blaming others. When we accept our emotional triggers without resistance, we allow the river of life to flow, carrying us towards greater self-awareness and inner peace. Again, that's Michael Singer. Let's talk about maintaining boundaries during divorce and breakup. This one gets me charged every time because people throw the word boundaries around like a toddler at a daycare declaring mine, mine, mine for every toy that they suddenly want for 5 seconds, momentarily. Because like many other trending terms born from the toxic side of the self-development movement, it's overused and it's used as a weapon because literally I see this on a regular basis. And I have to reverse this in clients I work with. I've seen people in relationships, inside of support groups and in families, and even other coaches and therapists use and teach boundaries as a weapon to trap and hurt and manipulate other people. Now, of course, it's unconscious, but it's happening in nearly all personal relationships when there's conflict present. The problem with this is that even when the truth is known and 100% undeniable, we will still be not satisfied if all that matters is someone crossed a boundary. So claiming a boundary has been breached is really an easy way to take the focus off of yourself, isn't it? How many times have you thrown out boundaries when someone didn't even know they had one, that you had one? Because most of the time, we've never even reached an agreed boundary. It hasn't even been spoken of. You have to be willing to walk away from conversations. Just walk away. Don't threaten, don't condemn, and don't escalate. Because you want to drop the need to be right. If you have to be right, then someone has to be wrong. You don't have to explain yourself to all of your friends and family or answer all their questions. Just walk away. End the conversation. And don't be reactivated. Set clear boundaries, of course, but communicate them. And I want you to follow through with them for yourself. Do not go by some default and say, I'm not going to communicate just because you think you know that he or she won't respect your boundary. I encourage you to do it anyway. Drop that old story. When emotional triggers arise, remember that boundaries are like invisible shields preserving your balance and nurturing your well-being. Brené Brown. Boundaries are for you to follow, not condemn, manipulate, or make others change who they are. That's not a boundary. This is your work, not theirs. Now let's talk about the role of using professionals to help you through this time. Look, don't have the limiting belief that you have to do this all on your own because you don't have time or because you're strong or because it's all their fault. Therefore, you don't need any help. Do not avoid professional help just to go run to your friends and family for support exclusively. Yeah, they're going to tell you what you want to hear, even when it's your fault. Because, listen, ego and love will get in the way of their support. I can't support my best friend as a coach. I love him too much. Because there's history and assumptions that makes me biased in that situation. They're not trained to help you emotionally regulate yourself. Usually, fuel is just added to the fire. And the surge of dopamine and other hormones you get from their validation telling you you're right does not serve you. It makes you believe only in your truth. Only your thoughts matter. And you're the only one that's right. Therefore, everyone else is wrong. Look, it's simple. It's just very hard for your loved ones to stay neutral whenever you are suffering. They want to fix you. Seeking the help of a professional coach, therapist, priest, counselor, it's invaluable during any breakup, any divorce, or any crisis that it involves or affects your identity and spirit. Find professionals with specific skills, proven processes to teach you how to work on yourself, not anybody else. They provide guidance and support as you navigate your emotional triggers, offering techniques, strategies tailored to your specific challenges, not the whole world's. Now, let's talk about the importance of a healthy support network, because seeking out a support network, it's not a group that will simply agree with you and pour gas on that fire, but a few key individuals that will hold space for you and give you feedback, but only when you ask for it, and let you tell them how to give it back. This also includes how you show compassion and forgiveness for yourself and towards others. Look, you can find support in nature. You can find it in yourself or in your unique approach to your faith. But this one I want you to really hear. I highly suggest staying away from any support group that is specifically aligned and titled with some extreme limiting beliefs, such as a narcissist group or covert surviving abuse group, etc. If you genuinely have these situations that you're getting through, get individual help. Do not sit in a Facebook group passively posting and reading in an echo chamber of victims who are happy with their pain and want to stay a victim and find an excuse to talk about it all the time. A great way to see if this is a group that you're in. Notice when someone posts something really tragic. Notice it's a judgment. It's their perception of reality. They're going to use data and emotions. Notice if the next 10 to 20 comments are adding fuel to the fire, telling them what hurtful thing to do in response to what they shared. And also, look for this. Are people just saying, you're absolutely right, but guess what? My story is worse. And they actually just give you their story without actually supporting you. Yeah, these groups can be healthy, but you got to watch out for which ones you join. Some of them are just echo chambers for negativity, and it fits the narrative of whoever designed that group so they can get clients. So negativity breeds more negativity. So if you find that you're in one of those groups, get out as soon as possible. Now, other resources for support. Yes, don't avoid your friends and family. Friends and family members can be understanding and empathetic, but you need to tell them how you need them to support you. Also, other support groups with individuals going through an actual divorce or other online forums and communities, the ones that are positively focused, solution-based. Those are all great. Professional therapists, coaches, and counselors. Great source. A support group is an anchor in the storm of emotional triggers, providing a safe harbor for understanding, healing, and connection. John C. Maxwell. Now, this one is going to be short. It could be an entire video or 10. Self-care during your divorce and breakup. Look, if you don't like what someone is saying to you, you don't have to immediately react to them. You don't have to tell them they're wrong just because you're right. I want you to think about this. Self-care. Let your peace be more important than being right. Do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Incorporate self-care practices into your daily routine, such as exercise, meditation, other hobbies, journaling, anything that brings you joy. This is not getting in a bubble bath on Sunday, drinking a bottle of wine. That's just getting drunk. Look, in conclusion, emotional triggers can be unavoidable because everyone has their own unique trigger. Now, the goal is to understand and manage your triggers so you can finally accept them because you are sacred. You're the one living in this experience. You're not perfect, but you do deserve to be happy. So, if you like this content, you can subscribe. This is Anthony Sacred Cobra Cortino signing off. Take a look in the descriptions below. I have links to several resources for you. I want you to check out the free 40-page Divorce Happy Now Planner. It helps you make aligned decisions pre, during, and post-divorce. You can actually apply all those things to the rest of your life. Helps you get out of your head and down on paper. Check that down below. Also, I have a link below to my newsletter. I am now putting out newsletters, content, videos, and podcasts just like this 1 to 3 times a week directly to your inbox. Check that out below. And also, take a look at the link for my group coaching offers. I get together with men and women every single week to affirm, awaken, create our preferred ideal reality. 90% of my clients are actively going through a divorce and they are doing it happy now, making their plans. They're not waiting for the storm to pass to be happy. By then, the pattern is set. Don't wait until your next relationship when you make them the enemy. Do it now. If you want to start a business, that's also what we're focusing on. We are focused on bringing more love and money into the world right now. Remember, you are sacred, you are worthy, you are unconditional love. We'll see you next time.